Welcome to the John DeVito Show. I hope you're having a great day here in Massachusetts. It was a pretty nice day today. As a lot of you know, we got a lot of rain this past summer and into the fall. And today got to be, probably about 65 degrees, pretty sunny, and it was a nice day. So after work today, I got a chance to mow the lawn and do some leaves. And I figured I would come in and do a podcast after that because I was thinking about some of the things I want to talk about and I've got so many ideas right now. And I'm going to be releasing a few podcasts over the next few days, and I still have to finish my series on the 13 families of the Illuminati. I believe I have four families left. Good news for everybody that's been suffering in through my poor audio. I bought a new computer today, so I'm hoping I can sync that with my Rodecaster Pro, and we'll be in good shape for much better audio moving forward. Right now, I'm using a pair of headphones with my phone, and this just isn't how I'm comfortable doing a podcast. I can't hear my voice in my ears, and it's a whole thing. So anyway, one of the things I want to talk about today is the squad. I am so sick and tired of hearing about AOC, Elon Omar, Rashida Talib, and Ayanna Presley. Am I the only one? I mean, these four women are as left wing and as extreme as you can get in this country. Now, I'm not going to come in here and say that I'm an expert on all things Palestine and Israel, but I know that in this particular conflict, Palestine staged a sneak attack on Israel, killing a lot of innocent people. And from my perspective, if someone attacks you, and this has been going on for years in the Gaza Strip. I mean, this war has been going on for years. You've got a lot of people that just don't like Israel. You've got, the Palestinians, you've got Iran, you've got Jordan, you've got all these different countries that do not like Israel. And Israel is constantly under attack. Now, let's take a step back in history. We don't have to talk too much about this, but there was that little thing called the Holocaust that happened back in the 1940s, where millions of Jews were murdered, were slaughtered, were burned in ovens, were killed. Innocent people who were taken over by the Nazis in Germany and just decimated and destroyed. So the Jews have been facing this type of persecution and genocide for many, many years. So here you have Israel, which has always been an ally of the United States of America. And quite frankly, I have a lot of very good friends that are Jewish, and I love my friends, and I take this personally that their country was attacked. So Palestine attacks Israel, and innocent people were slaughtered. So Israel decides to fight back. They launch an attack on the Gaza Strip, on the Palestinians, and they've decided that we've had enough. We're going to move into the Gaza Strip and we are going to decimate Hamas. And I'm sure there are a lot of wonderful people that live on the Gaza Strip. And it breaks my heart to think of innocent people being slaughtered, being murdered, being killed. I'm like anybody else. I hate to hear about death and killing and murder in war and in any aspect of life. I'm 55 years old. I've never killed a human being. I've never killed an animal. I'm not a hunter. I have, unfortunately, a couple of times hit, chipmunks and things like that while I was driving. But I literally spend my life trying not to kill anything. So when I hear about war and I hear about adults and I hear about parents and I hear about children who are dying at the hands of the violence right now in the Gaza Strip, it breaks my heart. It really does. Don't think I'm a stone cold person that doesn't care about death. And when I think about the innocent Palestinians that are losing their lives, that breaks my heart. They are also caught in the middle of this thing. So it drives me crazy. I'm going to get to the squad in a minute. I'm not getting too far away from that. Trust me. I'm working my way back to it because I'm pretty angry today about especially Rashida Talib. I am so tired of her. So I'll get into that in a second. Bear with me because I know that when I start talking about that, I'm going to get passionate. I'm going to lose it. So bear with me. So anyway, Israel's fighting back. Now, Talib, one of the big things she was talking about today, again, is how Israel launched an attack on a hospital that had children in the hospital and killed a lot of innocent children and people in this hospital. Now, that is an absolutely tragic event. I mean, I think about that and it breaks my heart. It's horrible to think that that happens. But if you break this down for a second, think about Hamas. Hamas is evil. Hamas is a group of terrorists that are intent on killing everybody in their wake. And they've always used schools and families and places that you would consider safe places to hide, during conflicts. So if you think about what happened in this hospital, it's terrible. A lot of people died, a lot of children died. But what Hamas did not consider and what the terrorist Rashida Talib did not consider is that if you look at the video of that particular bomb that hit the hospital, it wasn't fired by Israel. This was either a failed rocket by Hamas or it was an intentional rocket launched by Hamas on their own people so they could paint Israel as murderers and vicious killers. So if you really think about it, what's more likely? Did the Israels purposely target a hospital with children? Or did Hamas use this opportunity in either error, which could have been the case, or was it a planned attack on this hospital so they could use it to gain worldwide support with propaganda saying that Israel kills children? So when I think about Hamas, I think about the evil. I think about how the Palestinians who lived in America back on September 11th, 2001, I was alive then. I remember that day vehemently. And I remember the Palestinians that were living in New York City were cheering when the World Trade Centers went down. They were cheering. And I will never forget that image in my life, because if you think Palestine only hates Israel, you're incorrect. And I'm not saying all Palestinians, but the extremists, the ones that are here in America, some I'm sure are wonderful people. But there are a lot of Palestinians that hate America just as much as they hate Israel. They despise us. We don't have the same religious beliefs as them. They despise us. Now, let's get back to the squad, okay? The squad, they drive me crazy. Let's first start with AOC, my buddy. AOC, who went to Boston University. She was a bartender after college, so people like to say that she was stupid because she was a bartender. First of all, if you talk to bartenders are generally very intelligent people. So, I'm not willing to go and say that bartenders or AOC is stupid because she was a bartender. Now, she did go to Boston University and got an education, and she found her way into this congressional seat. AOC is a moonbat. She's crazy. She's insane. She's a liar. She's a fake. Think back when she went down to visit the border, and they showed her with all those pictures in the media of her crying in her white outfit, hands over her face, tears running down her face, as she looked through the fence at the illegal aliens. Well, you come to find out that a short time after that, she was looking at an empty parking lot. It was all staged. It wasn't true. It was a lie portrayed by the media. It was propaganda to show her. And if you really break it down and think about it, she was standing there looking at an open parking lot, crying and acting and pretending. What a phony. What a phony. What a liar. What a coward. I can't stand her. So, to take it a step further, good old AOC. Remember her, the Green New Deal architect, along with Ed Markey from Massachusetts? The Green New Deal. We're going to stop climate change by eradicating cow farts. That's right, AOC. You go get those cows. What I'd like to do is maybe eradicate climate change by eradicating maybe democratic, liberal, communist farts. Maybe we could do something like that. So anyway, AOC, she's a traitor. She's a phony. She is a liberal. She is a climate alarmist. She is a liar. And she is a traitor to this country. Excuse me. Sorry, I don't have my cough button with my phone here. So I apologize for coughing in your ear. So anyway, we move past AOC. Let's go to Ayanna Pressley. Oh my God, this woman is in Massachusetts, which is already liberal hell, as anybody that lives in the state knows. To be a Republican in Massachusetts is a is a nightmare because you're basically non-existent. But Ayanna Pressley is without question a person that has made it clear that she hates white people, that she hates America. She is a very, very blatant racist. And she is another one who is a liberal progressive who believes in reparations for slaves, families of slaves, and all these other extreme measures to destroy our country. So we got AOC, just a terrible person. We've got Presley, who is a racist and a communist. Then we move into some of the others. We've got our good old friend Rashida Talib. Now I'll mix her in with Elon Omar. I don't know if that makes me a racist or not. It's not. I'm not intending to do so. But Rashida Talib and Elon Omar both are extremists who I am not convinced are not plants from other countries intent to be like the big wooden horse, break into our country, take over our government from within, and destroy everything America stands for. Now, you might think that's crazy. We've talked about the Great Reset, Agenda 2030, World Economic Forum, all that stuff, right? If you look around the country, these groups have set up extremist little cells all around the country. You look in Boston, you've got the extremist mayor, Michelle Wu, who is despised in the city of Boston, but she is only pushing the agenda of the World Economic Forum. You can find her right on their page as being a young global leader, and she's assembled her group of city councilors. Now, you won't hear about this nationally. You're only hearing about Rashida Talib. But in Boston, there's a city council that has a number of people that are very much like Elon Omar and Rashida Talib. One of them is Tanya Anderson. You can look her up, and she is one of the city council members, and she is doing the same thing that Talib is. She is screaming from the rooftops and defending Palestine. And, again, you don't just see this in government. You're seeing it in the colleges now, Harvard, all these other well-known colleges that have been using propaganda as a tool to basically brainwash the students for many, many years. The students in a lot of these schools are also doing the same thing. Now, let's talk about the insurrection yesterday, where 300 Palestinian demonstrators were arrested in Washington, D.C. Now, January 6th was a big insurrection, right? Donald Trump had to be impeached. He had to be indicted for the horrible man that he is, even though they opened the gates and they welcomed the people in. And it was all a farce, this January 6th insurrection. There was an insurrection yesterday in Washington, D.C. You hear nothing about it. We won't even talk about the George Floyd riots back in summer of 2020 when they destroyed cities all over the country. And that was not called an insurrection. Those were called peaceful protests. But anyway, you've got this Tanya Anderson, I think her name is, in Boston. You've got Rashida Talib, Elon Omar, you've got AOC, you've got Presley, and you've got other extremists all around the country that are screaming for Palestine. Think about it. They're supporting Hamas, who are terrorists. They are terrorists. They're like Al Qaeda. They are terrorists intent on killing. They want to kill innocent people. They want to destroy countries like Israel. They want to destroy countries like the United States of America. So my question is, what are we doing as a country now that we've been infiltrated by these criminals, these terrorists, these traitors who are intent on destroying the United States of America? Now, what was the actor's name? I can't even think of his name. Michael Rappaport. Now, this one actually kind of shocked me. I don't know if you saw this, but Michael Rappaport, who's an actor, I actually like him as an actor. I don't like his politics, but I like him as an actor. He's a left-wing liberal, and he came out bashing Talib, defending Israel. And you're starting to see some of these Democrats who are realizing that these extremists have hijacked the Democratic Party. Now, I'm 55 years old. I'm too young to remember JFK and the Democrats of the 1960s. I was born in the late 60s. But if you think about the Democrats of the 1960s, the Democrats of the 1970s, there were some very good Democrats. I came from a Democratic family. where my families were Democrats. I mean, I supported the Democratic Party until I was probably in my mid 30s. And I've learned my lesson since then and seen the light, thank goodness. Um, but if you think about the Democrats of the past, that party's gone. The party of Kennedy doesn't exist anymore. The party you have today is no longer the true Democratic Party of the 70s, 60s, 80s. The Democratic Party now is a party of extremists. They're a party of people that are attacking this country from within. They're terrorists. They are just people who are intent on destroying the United States of America. And if you support the Democratic Party, then you're one of these people right now that's cheering on Palestine. And, again, I want to make it clear this doesn't make me happy. I'm not a warmonger. I don't want to see people die. I don't want to see innocent people die. I don't want to see children die. But you know what? For the people to defend Palestine and to try to vilify Israel right now is disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting because Israel was attacked. If Hamas had not attacked Israel, then this would have never been an issue. So for the people right now that are trying to defend Palestine, whether you're politicians, actors, college students, whoever you are, I do not agree with you. I do not agree with you. And honestly, you need to look in the mirror because I'm ashamed of all of you. I really am. And you should be ashamed of yourselves for defending a country full of terrorists and a group that is terrorizing the people in Israel. So you think about all that. Now you think about also, good old dementia Joe Biden went to Israel. Thank God he was there. I mean, thank God Joe was there because he could use his amazing presentation skills and persuasion to end this conflict. I mean, the guy can barely, I'm sure, order a donut in the morning at Dunkin' Donuts. So, I mean, they fly this clown to Israel. Either that or he was on a soundstage, and they had no interest in meeting with him. Big shocker that was. But they fly him over there. But that's nice of Joe to show up, especially after he gave $6 billion to Iran, and Iran funds Hamas, and Hamas attacked Israel. So Joe Biden is part of the problem. He's part of the problem. He is funding the country that pays the terrorists to attack, and they fund Hamas. And we won't talk about where they got all the weapons. I mean, do you think any of the weapons from Afghanistan, the hundreds of billions of dollars of weapons that Dementia Joe left behind for the terrorists to take, do you think maybe any of those may have found their way into the hands of terrorist groups like Hamas? This guy is the biggest disaster I've seen in my 55 years in this country. And my Americans, my fellow Americans out there, if you're listening to me, we need to start screaming from the rooftops. We need to vote our asses off. We need to get these terrorists out of our lives. We need to eradicate them from our government. Talib, AOC, Elon Omar, Ayanna Pressley, all of them, Maxine Waters. You got, Michelle Wu in Boston, all these different people who have a plan. Their intent is to come in and destroy the United States of America. And Americans, I'm telling you, I can't remember, was it Reagan who said this? I don't remember who said it. But one of the presidents at one point said, we're always only one generation away from losing our freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, we're at that time right now. We are at a crossroads in this country where we are in danger of losing our freedom. We are in danger of losing the United States of America. Our founding fathers, after just winning a war, created the Constitution to give us a plan moving forward. And they were brilliant men that wrote that document because they were trying to, like I mentioned in my last podcast, see things that were not even present at that point. And they gave us certain rights in this country under the Constitution. But you have to realize it's a piece of paper. And unless we, the Americans, we, the American people, we, the people, unless we stand up and start defending the freedom in this country, we are not going to have a country anymore. So when it comes to these communists, when it comes to these terrorists, when it comes to these fascists who are intent on destroying our country, when it comes to this evil group of women called the Squad, it is time to get them out of office. I don't know if you can impeach them, but they need to be voted out. They need to be removed from power. And we need to put real American-loving citizens in these roles that care about the United States of America. They care about the people of America, and they will do everything in their power to preserve the greatest country in the history of the world. That's the United States of America. So thank you, everybody, for tuning into the John DeVito Show. I hope you're enjoying my shows. I've got, I think, 420 episodes that have been recorded. I do believe this is going to be my new format. I like doing these hard-hitting 20-minute podcasts. So hopefully you're enjoying these. If you get a chance, please share my podcast, tell a friend. And again, I thank each and every one of you that takes the time to listen to me. It means more to me than you can imagine. Have a great night, everybody, and thank you very much.